Hello. Welcome. Have a seat. Would you like a cup of tea? I'd love to make you a cup of tea, but we're in a situation where I can't really. Anyway, if you're here for like a funny comedy kind of vloggy video, I'm just gonna say right off the bat, this is definitely not it. This video is more for my OG subscribers and also my new G subscribers, so that you can get to know me and my story a little bit better. I am aware that there are some unanswered questions that no one's been bothering me about, but might have been in the back of your mind, or maybe they haven't. I don't know. Who am I to assume? I wasn't gonna share this, but I was thinking, like, because I felt so alone in all of this, it might help somebody else out there, because it would have really been helpful to have had like somebody to talk to during this time. I know I've referenced it in a couple of videos, and if you've been subscribed to me for over a year, you know that last December, January kind of, I redid my entire apartment. Why did I do it? Where was Colin? Those are the questions I'm gonna answer. Colin is a recovering alcoholic. In December, he went to an inpatient 30-day program, which I am so incredibly thankful for. The hardest thing for me before he went was separating the addiction from the person who he is. The things that he was doing weren't to intentionally hurt me. They were symptoms of his disease. I was looking back at the videos like around Thanksgiving when it started to get kind of bad. There's like a hint of something going on, and you wouldn't know that unless you knew me. It was nothing in my demeanor, and it was nothing in my personality that really changed in those videos. Like, I was still trying to be quirky and funny, but you can sense like my environment. Like, it was messy, there was crappy lighting. They're not good videos, but I tried. I did the best with what I had. But that just goes to show that, like, you only see what I choose to show you, and no one would have guessed what was going on. Because I had never dealt with addiction before, like in growing up in my family, I was lucky enough to have never experienced anybody with an addiction. And I didn't know what to do. I am a planner. I plan everything, and I research, and I do all of this stuff, but because I had never dealt with it, like, I went into survival mode, and I'm like, all right, what are we gonna do? What can I do to help? People who have an addiction need to find help on their own, which is the hardest thing that I had to deal with. There's nothing I could have done. I was in a situation where I was completely powerless. If you have a loved one or someone in your family or a friend, I highly recommend going and checking out Al-Anon. Al-Anon is different from Alcoholics Anonymous, because Alcoholics Anonymous is for alcoholics. Al-Anon is for people who have loved ones who are in recovery or not in recovery. But joining the Al-Anon group and going to like the Zoom meetings through the apps was a space where I could actually relate to people, and there were people there who could relate to me, because it's one thing to talk to a friend who knows you and who knows your partner, and but they've never dealt with addiction, so maybe they don't know what to say, or they're there to offer support, but they don't know how to support you. And, you know, I'm very thankful for my friends that were there for me and my family who were there for me throughout this whole process. But Al-Anon was really where, like, I felt that people really understood what I was saying when I was sharing, or I could really relate to their stories, and talking to people on there was super, super helpful. So I highly recommend Al-Anon to anybody who is experiencing this. December came, and December was the month that Colin left to go to his inpatient treatment. And I was really relieved when he went, because I was at home by myself, where it was like the chaos just stopped. He was silly and clumsy and sleepy most of the time. He was never mean or angry or anything like that. I'm hesitant to share this story because I don't want you to judge him, because him and I have both done a lot of work, and I'm proud of where we are today. So just to preface this, I don't want you to judge Colin, because he's a wonderful man and a supportive man and one of the best. He's the best person I know and my best friend. So I just want to put that out there. So he's going off to inpatient, and I was relieved because I no longer had to be worried about his safety, and I knew that he was in a place where he would be watched and monitored and doing therapy and all of that. So he was finally getting help, and it was his choice to get help. I did help him a lot along the way when he asked me to. So now we're at the very beginning of December. Colin is inpatient, and I'm here home alone in a dirty, messy house. Because I do have seasonal depression, I would have grabbed a blanket, grabbed my laptop, and grabbed a bag of chips, and I would have just nestled into my couch for the next 30 days, just in a state of depression. I knew that that was not the way that I wanted it to go down. I wanted to clean my house. I wanted to get rid of all the bad energy in my house. I moved every single piece of furniture by myself. There is not one single piece of furniture that is in the same spot that it was a year ago, except for the bedroom, because those pieces were actually really heavy, and the places that they're in are really kind of the only places they can be. So I gave myself a checklist for 30 days to complete, to just redo everything. And I made a whole video series about it to hold myself accountable. I think there's like 10 videos, all between 5 and 10 minutes. Some of them are a riot. I highly recommend checking them out. I used one of those Bissell squirty things for the very first time. I moved a bookshelf that was twice as big as I was. I tried and failed to build furniture that went in my bathroom. Like, I really went ham. And I am so glad that I had that, because this was also at the height of COVID. There was literally nothing to do, which is why it would have been so easy to just get some junk food and sit on the couch and become a lump. But I did not become a lump. Instead, I redid the entire apartment. Get rid of all the bad juju. Because, like, also while I was reading about people with addiction, is when they come out of inpatient, they shouldn't go, right back to their normal routines, because part of their routine is drinking. And so I wanted to just have like a new environment to come home to. And I put art on the wall. I've got Freddie Mercury behind me. Freddie Mercury's behind me. I've got Joe Strummer on that wall. Like we actually have art on our walls now, and everything is just so much more aesthetic, and things are more open. And so it's been over a year. I'm not gonna say that everything has been perfect, but I will tell you what has helped. Therapy. A therapist for Colin, a therapist for me, and a therapist for both of us. He goes to the AA meetings, and I go to Al-Anon meetings. It's opened up the communication for us a lot. I know that being the one sober person at a party is not fun. So that's why we also have a dry house. Obviously, I didn't want to keep any alcohol in the house. And I also stopped drinking in solidarity. He didn't want me to, but I think he appreciates it deep down. If it makes it easier for my partner, like, we're in this together. That's why we're partners. We are getting married this summer. And like, whenever we're about to go to a family gathering where there will be alcohol present, we talk about it beforehand. When he came out of outpatient, I was nervous. I was wondering how he was going to do. But where we are now, Colin is sober, I am sober, our relationship is so much better. If you're in this and if you're struggling, I just want to say you can always reach out to me. My Instagram is down in the description if you want to send me a private DM. I am always happy to talk. I am happy to share resources. I've got a lot of resources. I was lucky enough to have a really good support system that checked in on me every single day while he was gone, to the point of being annoying, but I appreciated it nonetheless. I'm not only super proud of Colin for making the decision and going and getting help for himself and working on it every single day, but I'm also really proud of me because I made it 30 days by myself in this apartment. I physically saw the strength that I had moving everything around. I was able to see the mental strength that it took leading up to this point. The year that just ended, I was super focused on getting my mental health back on track. It's really hard to think about the darkest times and the things that I went through. I don't really know how to end the video, except just to say that things are back on track. Colin ended up loving what I did with the place, by the way. Absolutely loved it. But I wanted to share that story with you, and I wanted to share that part of me with you. And I did have people who pointed me in the directions of Al-Anon and therapy and resources. So but I still felt like I was going through it by myself because it was the height of COVID. So I literally went through it by myself. How depressing was Christmas Eve and Christmas Day completely by myself. I cried on Christmas Eve. That sucked. So that's it. Thank you for listening. If you would like to, I encourage you to leave a comment. And yeah, thanks for being here.